Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into the sci-fi epic, The Three-Body Problem. Now, this is a story that doesn't start with spaceships or aliens, but with a question that's way more terrifying. What if science itself is a lie?
I mean, wow. This is the final, chilling message left by a brilliant string theorist named Yang Dong. This is someone whose entire life was about finding the elegant, unifying rules of the universe. And then she takes her own life. And just like that, a global mystery is born.
Okay, so let's get into this crisis in science. Yang Dong's death? It's not an isolated incident, not even close. It's just one in a wave of suicides sweeping through the international physics community. Something is very, very wrong, and a chilling pattern is starting to emerge. And this is where we meet our main character, Wang Miao. He's a nanomaterials researcher. He designs new materials atom by atom. He's basically our eyes and ears, our way into this whole mystery. His life is pretty normal, pretty quiet, until a gruff detective and a couple of army officers show up on his doorstep. Everything's about to change for him.
So they whisk him away to this secret battle command center. And inside, you've got military leaders from all over the world. And they're talking about war. General Cheng Weisei says, of all the combat zones around the globe, this one has become the focal point. But what combat zone? The world is at peace. It makes no sense.
It turns out the investigation is zeroing in on one group, an international academic society called the Frontiers of Science. It seems like most of the scientists who died had ties to this group. Their whole goal? To find the very limits of science. The authorities are convinced they hold the key, and they have a job for Wang Miao. Go undercover, join them, and figure out what's driving these brilliant people to absolute despair.
Okay, so physics is broken. But what does that even mean? To understand why these scientists have lost all hope, and before Wang can even think about infiltrating this group, we have to grasp the terrifying truth they've uncovered.
So how can a simple game of pool explain the total collapse of science? Well, Wang Miao goes to see Ding Yi. He's another top-tier physicist, and he was also Yang Dong's boyfriend. He's grieving, he's angry, and he uses a pool table to try and explain the impossible situation they're all facing. Okay, so Ding Yi sets up a normal experiment. Step 1, you shoot a ball into a pocket, right? It goes in. Step 2, you move the table, shoot again. It still goes in. You can do this at different times, in different places, and the result is always the same. It's predictable. And this is the fundamental principle of everything we know. The laws of physics are invariant. They are constant, they are universal. That simple idea that the rules don't change is the bedrock upon which all of modern science is built. It's how we can send probes to Mars and build skyscrapers. We trust the rules.
But what if they weren't? What if you couldn't trust the rules? This is the terrifying question Ding Yi poses, and it shatters that entire foundation.
He describes this impossible result. Shot 1, the ball goes in, just like normal. But then, shot 2, the ball flies straight up to the ceiling. Shot 3, the ball just vanishes into thin air. Shot 4, it shoots away at nearly the speed of light. It's a world where the laws of nature have gone completely haywire, where nothing is predictable. And this isn't just a thought experiment. This is the crisis. In the world's most advanced particle accelerators, this is exactly what's happening. The results of identical experiments are now completely random and unpredictable. Think about that. Imagine dedicating your entire life to discovering the fundamental truths of the universe, only to discover that truth itself is broken. That's the horror they're living. So how did this happen? How did physics break? To get to the bottom of this present-day scientific crisis, we actually have to go back in time. Way back, to 1967, and the height of the Cultural Revolution in China. We're dropping into what was known as the Madness Years. We're in China, 1967. This is a time of incredible upheaval, of intense and often violent ideological conflict. Here, a physics professor named Yi Zihai is being publicly shamed for teaching what are considered reactionary ideas, things like Einstein's theory of relativity. He's asked a poignant question: should philosophy guide experiments, or should experiments guide philosophy? His answer will cost him everything. In front of a huge crowd, he's betrayed by his own wife. He's beaten by young, fanatical Red Guards. But through it all, he refuses to renounce the objective truths of science. He holds his ground. And watching this whole horrifying scene unfold is his daughter, Ye Wenji. She watches as her father is beaten to death for believing in science. This single, traumatic moment, it's going to change her, and in doing so, it's going to shape the entire future of humanity. After that, Yuan-ji becomes a political pariah. She's completely disillusioned, and she's sent to a remote labor camp way out in the wilderness of Inner Mongolia. This is the Red Coast Project. This is where she'll make a fateful choice. While she's there, she gets her hands on a smuggled copy of the environmental book Silent Spring, and as she's reading it, a new and really dangerous idea starts to form in her mind. She concludes that humanity is just incapable of solving its own problems, that we need some kind of outside force to save us from ourselves. And then she's betrayed again, this time by another intellectual she trusted. She's framed for writing a politically sensitive letter, she's arrested, and it looks like she's going to face a long, long prison sentence. Her fate seems pretty much sealed. But then, in prison, she's given a choice, an impossible one. On one hand, the prison cell, a 10-year sentence for being a counter-revolutionary. On the other, a secret military base called Red Coast. They need her expertise in astrophysics, but if she joins, it's for life. She can never, ever leave. A message to the stars? Well, she chooses the base, and she's flown to the top of this remote, isolated mountain called Radar Peak. And there, she sees it, a massive, mysterious antenna pointed straight up at the sky.
On her very first night, she gets to see it in action. A countdown begins. This powerful energy field emanates from the antenna, so strong that birds literally fall from the sky. A cloud in the night sky actually starts to glow, and then an enormous signal is beamed out deep into space.
And this brings us right back to the beginning. What message did this broken human send out into the universe back in 1969? And this is the big one. Did her single act, born of despair and betrayal, somehow break physics for everyone?